Well, good morning, children. It's great to be with you again in our assemblies. So, welcome to reception, year one, year two, and year three. So, whenever it is you're listening, I hope you really enjoy. Now, remember, we've got a really big question that every time we meet together in our assemblies, we think about this one big question and try and tell a story which helps us understand something more about the question. So our big question is, can you remember from our last couple of stories? Here it is. I hope you've remembered. Who is Jesus? That's right. And we've learned with the help from some of our friends. Remember some of our friends? Billy the Bulldog and Tilly last week. Well, we learn from them and from the Bible story that Jesus is more than just a good man, isn't he? Jesus was able to make somebody well who couldn't walk. Jesus was able to calm the waves and stop the wind. And we also found out that Jesus is able to forgive sins. Wow, that is quite amazing because the Bible tells us that only God can forgive sins. So I think from the stories, what we're learning is that Jesus was making a claim to say that he is God with us. Anyway, another story for today, which will help us understand something a little bit more. And I've got another friend. So I hope, children, you're going to be able to say hello. This is Archie. Hey, say hello, Archie. Wave your paw. That's a good boy. Archie's my latest new friend. Hope you like him. He's always so lovely and soft and smooth to stroke. I know, and he's a really good boy as well. And he's a really good dog. Well, listen, hope you enjoy your story today. And Archie might just help us to tell a few little parts of the story. Is that okay, Archie? Yeah, thank you for that. Well, our story today, Jesus has been around and about for quite some time now, at least for over a year, doing some amazing things. So wherever Jesus went, I know, wherever he went, there was lots and lots of people who wanted to see him and to listen to him and often to find out what he was going to say next, but also what he might do next. Well, in our story today, Jesus enters a village and it's called Bethsaida. And there was big crowds of people, as usual, following him. And people in the village came out to meet him. And some of the people in the village brought out a man to meet Jesus who was blind. That's right, he couldn't see at all. He wasn't able to see. No, we don't know why. The story doesn't tell us anything except that he couldn't see at all. And some people brought him out to meet Jesus. Well, when Jesus met the blind man, Jesus took him aside from the crowd. Yeah, I think he was wanting to show the man some respect, wasn't he? I think he wanted to show the man that he was important and that even though he was blind, he was still a special person and special to Jesus. Well, Jesus put his hands on the man's eyes, a bit like this, covered his eyes so he couldn't see. I know you can see, but the man couldn't see. And Jesus put his hands on the man's eyes, covered them, and took them off. And he said to the man, "What can you see?" Well, the man said, "Well, things are better than what they were, but it's not completely clear. I see people and trees, and they look like trees that are walking." Well, we know that's not quite true, is it? Trees don't walk. But the man could at least see something again, and it was blurred. It's a bit like me. If I take my glasses off, I can see you because you're a long way away, and my eyes are good, but I can't read much now without my glasses. Everything looks blurred. So to help me read, I have to put my glasses on. Well, Jesus didn't leave the man like that because that wouldn't have been good, would it, Archie? No, I know, wouldn't have been good at all. Jesus again put his hands over the man's eyes. Boom, took them off. And then he said, tell me what you can see now. Well, the man, there was such a big smile on his face. He was really, really happy, wasn't he? Oh, he was so excited. He was, amazing. And this is what happens. Jesus said, and let me just read what the man's answer was. The man said, his eyes were opened. I can see everything clearly. Whoa! Isn't that amazing? The man could see everything clearly once again. I'm sure he did thank Jesus, and I'm sure he was really, really pleased that he was able to see. Now, it's a bit of a strange story in a way, isn't it, children? Because it looks as though first time Jesus wasn't able to make his eyes open properly. But the story's trying to help us understand there's something more about who Jesus is. And he knows that lots of the people who were following him, yeah, that's right, his disciples and those in the crowd as well, didn't really understand who Jesus was or why he came. They only had half an idea. They didn't see clearly. And Jesus wanted to illustrate that they could have their eyes open completely to the truth of who he was. So when the Bible talks about people being blind, it often doesn't just mean that they're blind in their eyes. It means that they're blind to the truth of who Jesus is in their hearts. And Jesus has come to give them full understanding in their hearts to who Jesus is. So he didn't just want this man to see with his eyes. He wanted to know the truth about who Jesus really is. Now, we don't know the next part of the story. That's right, it doesn't tell us. But what it does go on to tell us is this, that after that story, Jesus went away with his closest followers and asked them a question. And he said to them this, who do you think I am? And Jesus wanted to know if they could see completely clearly who Jesus was. Peter, one of the disciples, says, Jesus, you are the Christ, which means the Messiah. You are the Son of God. What an answer that was. And although the answer was right, Peter still didn't understand everything at this point about who Jesus really is. And after half term, children, we're going to find out a little bit more to try and help us understand. It's a good story, I know it is, Archie. I know, I'm sure the children liked that. I'm sure they were pleased that the man was able to see properly as well. Shall we say a little prayer, children, before we finish? And if you want to join in at the end, you can, and you can say Amen. All right, hands together. And if you want to, you can close your eyes, but you don't need to. Let me pray. Dear Lord Jesus, thank you for this day. And thank you for all the children in Rice Lane School. We thank you for the staff who care for them. And we ask that you give them a lovely day together. Keep them safe. Help them to play well and to learn well. Help them to take good care of each other. And we ask and pray too that you'll just remind us again of something more of who you are and the importance of knowing you, not just with our eyes open, but with our heart open to who you are too. Amen. Amen, children, and we will see you after half term.